Hello everyone, good evening. This is Areeba, rank 109 in UPSC CSE 2021. Yesterday only I did my official joining at Indian Police Service at NPA. Unfortunately, I met with some accident, so I'm staying in the hospital of NPA. And from hospital itself, I'm taking up this session. So today's session we have organized to tackle with prelims, because the prelims is approaching, and we will try to understand that questions which are not very, you're not very familiar, how we can apply some elimination, how we can apply some, your knowledge base things that you see in daily life, how we can apply that in eliminating a lot of options. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's quickly go to the first question. So the first question is, rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which one of the following? So if you see the question, the answers to it are very close. Asian Development Bank, International Monetary Fund, United Nations Environment Program Finance Initiative, and fourth is World Bank. So why I have chosen this question to share with you people is to tell you the importance of newspaper. And in newspaper, you will get these things, the terms like rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility very frequently. So only people who are good with newspaper will be able to solve this question. And one more thing that I wanted to share through this question is, whenever these kind of words or terms will come, they will not go in deep. They did not ask rapid financing instrument made in depth. They only asked what it is related to. So you have to understand in what dimensions you should go deep and where you should have superficial knowledge. Okay, so this is with this kind of question. So answer of this question is B, International Monetary Fund. So the lesson from this question is, first you have to be very thorough with your newspaper every day. Secondly, you have to understand in what depth you have to go regarding what topic. Okay, second question please. So the second question is, with reference to the expenditure made by an organization or a company, which of the following statements are correct? First is, acquiring new technology is capital expenditure. Second is, debt financing is considered capital expenditure, while equity financing is considered revenue expenditure. So generally, these are very low-hanging fruits, low-hanging questions. You only have to understand the difference between capital expenditure and your revenue expenditure. But a lot of people did mistake in this. So if you're acquiring new technology, it will help you in coming years. For a lot of years, it will help you. So obviously, it's a capital expenditure. So your one is correct. Now, debt financing is considered capital, while equity is considered revenue. So this is a wrong statement, because equity also is a capital expenditure. Because equity, obviously, you will be getting over the time. So a lot of people did mistake in this question. So you have to be very much clear with concepts. Through this question, I wanted to make you understand how important it is to keep conceptual clarity. You just don't have to know what is capital, what is revenue, but you also have to understand how it is applied in daily life. Okay. So the answer for this question is only one.
अच्छा दोस्तों, कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका मेंटर एक यूपीएससी रैंकर हो? यूपीएससी 2022 में सिविल्स डेली के 500 से ज्यादा बच्चे, मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं, 500 से ज्यादा बच्चे, मतलब हर चौथा इंटरव्यू एस्पिरेंट सिविल्स डेली का स्टूडेंट है, इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं। मैं आपको कनेक्ट कराऊंगा अपने सिविल्स डेली के रैंकरों के साथ 1-to-1 सेशन के लिए। इस 1-to-1 सेशन के लिए आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है, सिर्फ इस लिंक पे रजिस्टर करना है। ये रैंकर्स आपके लिए टाइम टेबल भी बनाएंगे, स्टडी प्लान भी बनाएंगे, और फॉलो मेंटरशिप कॉल में ये आपको ये भी बताएंगे कि क्या 10-15 चीजें आपको करनी है कि आपकी पहले अटेम्प्ट में ही रैंक 1 आ जाए। तो रजिस्टर करिए तुरंत।
Okay, so the third question please. Now it's a polity question. They are asking, and one more thing, always start with what is being asked. So first, what is asked is which of the statements are correct. You always should highlight if they have asked correct or incorrect. Okay, so the first step is highlight what they have asked. Now go to the first option. First, pursuant to the report of H.N. Sanyal Committee, the Contempt of Court Act 1971 was passed. So I don't think anybody would be knowing this. So leave it there. Okay. Now come to the second part. Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and High Court to punish for contempt of themselves. If you have read Lakshmikant very well, obviously it's a very basic thing that Constitution does empower both Supreme Court and High Court to punish for their contempt. It's a very basic thing. So what now, as of now, what you have inferred is 2 is correct. So 2 is in A and B. That means C and D are eliminated. Okay. Now, and that also means that 1 is correct, because in A, B, you have 1 and 2 in both the options. So now the game rests on fourth number option. See the fourth now. In India, Parliament is vested with powers to make laws on contempt of court. Obviously, we have Contempt of Court Act 1971, which is made by Parliament. So yes, Parliament is vested with the power. So you didn't have to know every committee, every report that is being published. Obviously, if you didn't know H.N. Sanyal, that doesn't matter. In this question, UPSC doesn't want to know if you know H.N. Sanyal committee or not. What it wants is your basic understanding of Constitution, Supreme Court, High Court. Through your basic understanding, you can solve this question. An answer to this question is, of course, B, 1, 2, and 4. Okay. Next question. Again, the first step is, which of the statements given above are correct? Always keep it in mind, it is asking correct or incorrect. Now, first is, a bill amending the Constitution requires a prior recommendation of the President of India. If you know basic Lakshmikant, you know the answer. No. When a Constitution amendment bill is presented to the President of India, it is obligatory for the President of India to give the assent. Yes, through some amendment, it was made compulsory. So even if you know the first option, you can eliminate A, C, and D, and you will directly reach to B, 2 and 3. So this is how they give very doable questions where you only require very, very basic knowledge. Okay, and that's why I always say that polity, if 20 questions come in polity, you have to make at least 18 correct. You cannot afford more than 2 incorrect in polity, because it's the only thing that will sail you through. Polity is, for me, it was my favorite subject, because everything you have in your hand. If you are done with Lakshmikant, you can do it very nicely. Okay, so this question is a very easy question. A lot of people got confused in it because a lot of things you tend to skip while you're sitting in exam. So through basic options also you can do these kind of questions. Next question. Again, they're asking the correct one. With reference to anti-defection law in India, consider the following statements. The law specifies that a nominated legislator cannot join any political party within 6 months of being appointed to the House. So again, the trap in this question is the term within. What the law says is that after 6 months you cannot join, and what they have mentioned is within 6 months you cannot join. So through this question, I wanted to emphasize that each and every word that is being given, you need to understand. Okay, sometimes the trap lies in one word. Your mind might try to skip that word, and that's a trap. So please read the options very carefully, very, very carefully. One word can make you, lose the whole prelims. Okay. So in this question, the law specifies that a nominated legislator cannot join any political party after 6 months. It should be after 6 months of being appointed to the House. So option 1 is incorrect. The law doesn't provide any time frame within which the presiding officer has to decide a defection case. Yes, obviously, every day we read in newspaper that presiding officer is not deciding a defection case. So even if you do not know this nitty-gritty and you are very well versed with your newspaper, you can do this question very easily. So the answer is B. Next. Next question. Okay, so this question is again incorrect wala. With reference to Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, consider the following statements. Private and public hospitals must adopt it. So here the word is must adopt it. Okay. The logic says that it cannot be mandatory on any, either a public hospital or a private hospital to adopt some scheme. right? Government is not authoritarian, it is a democracy we are living in. It's not authority कि आप किसी भी organization को force करिए कुछ adopt करने के लिए. So your mind should become alert on these kind of terms. Must, definitely, exactly. These kind of words are a trap. Okay. So now coming to the second option, as it aims to achieve universal health coverage, every citizen of India should be part of it ultimately. Again, it's a very, very vague kind of thing that you should understand that any kind of scheme cannot be for all citizens of India. There are schemes which are there, but such, Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is providing a lot of money, so it cannot be for every citizen of India. Otherwise, the fiscal deficit will go, a lot, very high. So again, your mind should understand that it's a trap. Now coming to third question, it has seamless portability across the country. Now, obviously, if it's a digital mission, it should have some seamless portability, right? In urban areas also, in rural areas also, in all kind of devices. So this question, this option seems correct. For this reason itself, digital mission came in, right, to have seamless portability. So with this, I wanted to emphasize that please mark these terms: must, universal, every, all, yeah, none. These kind of words you should always be very careful. So the answer for this question is only this third option. So the answer is B. Okay. So even if you're not knowing Ayushman Bharat digital mission completely, you can eliminate with your common sense. Next. Okay. System of rice intensification of cultivation in which alternate wetting and drying of rice fields is practiced results in. Again, they're asking to select the correct answer. So option is reduced seed requirement, reduced methane production, reduced electricity consumption. So if you see a pattern, they have given reduced. They have not said eliminate. They didn't say that it will eliminate methane production. They didn't say that it will eliminate electricity consumption. What they are saying is reduce. And all the three things are good, right? If they reduce the seed requirement, it's beneficial for the farmer. If they reduce methane production, it's good for the environment. For electricity consumption, similarly. So you should understand that whenever a new technology comes up, it always comes up to solve some problem, right? So and these three things that they have mentioned in the option is solving a problem related to agriculture. So even if I didn't know what is system of rice intensification, I would have marked 1, 2, 3, because firstly, it is not a very strict statement that it is saying that it is eliminating methane or something. It's a very soft statement that it is saying, yeah, it is reducing. And also it is saying it is doing the correct thing in all the three options. So even if you don't know, I would have gone for this. And otherwise, system of rice intensification is a very normal topic. We come through across it very all the time. Even it's mentioned in Shankar IAS book also. So in UPSC fraternity, it's a very, very simple, topic. But even if you don't know, what I'm trying to say is you should keep these things in mind. Okay. So answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. Next. Which of the following have borders with Afghanistan? तो इससे easy question तो हो ही नहीं सकता था, because this was asked in when this in US Afghanistan war, all of those things were going, है ना? So it was a very expected thing that Afghanistan will be asked, and they even gave a very, very easy options also. So if you just know the location of Azerbaijan and you go through elimination, you will eliminate wherever there is one, है ना? So you will reach C, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, if you go, you might skip Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. All of these stans are, similar sounding. So you might not be able to come at conclusion with these 2, 3, 4 options. But if you slightly know the, you have spatial awareness of Azerbaijan, you can eliminate this only through one option. So sometimes in maps, UPSC doesn't want to know exact location. They only want to know your some spatial awareness. Okay. So answer is, if you eliminate Azerbaijan, the answer is C, 3, 4, 5. Next. Okay, so coming to 28th question, again they have asked the correct statement. With reference to India, consider the following statements. First is, monazite is a source of rare earth. Obviously, yes. Second is, monazite contains thorium. Yes, that is the reason that we are doing this extraction activity near Kerala coast. We want thorium, which is we want for our nuclear power plants. So now coming to third option, monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India. So now this kind of statement is a very generic universal statement where they are saying that it is occurring in entire Indian coastal sands. So that's a very rare thing, right? A metal has some adaptation in a very few places. Some kind of metals are found. It's very unrealistic to say that this metal is present in entire coast of India, where the coast is huge. Indian coast is huge, so it cannot. It is a very unrealistic thing to say that it is present in entire coast. So again, your mind should become alert here that no, it might be a trap. Now come to the fourth statement. In India, government bodies only can process or export monazite. So again, this is a 50-50 statement. Might be, might not be. So what I will do in this situation is to go with the by eliminating third option. So if you eliminate the third option, you will eliminate A, C, and D, and you will reach B, 1, 2, and 4. So that means, yes, it's a rare earth metal. It contains thorium, and government bodies only can process. And now when the answer comes like this, you will think that it's a very precious material. It contains thorium, which is very radioactive. It is important for your strategic strategy or strategic diplomacy of the country, for nuclear power plants. So obviously government bodies will only process and export monazite. So this way your common sense should work. Even if you don't know the whole monazite thing, your common sense can make you come to the correct statement. Okay, so the answer is B, 1, 2, and 4. Next. So why I chose this question is, see, one thing in this year paper, what they have introduced is this kind of only 1, only 2, only 3, all 4. So basically they are reducing the chances of elimination. Earlier it was 1, 3, 2, 3, something like that. Now they want you to know exactly. Even if you don't know one option, it will not work. You have to know all these 4 options, right? So in few questions, it will, this year also they might give such questions. It might become a trend in UPSC that they are giving something of this sort. But trust me, it is applicable for obviously everyone. You are not alone in this war. So इस तरह का हर के ऊपर है. आप हर किसी, everybody will face these things. But see, what they have given in this question is very basic things. The wetlands you must know. These are all wetlands which you must know. So one more thing I want to emphasize here is the first option what they have given is Hokera wetland. It's a very similar sounding name with Harike, which is in Punjab. Hokera is in Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, and Harike is in Punjab. So sometimes they tend to do this. The similar sounding words or similarly visible words, they try to misplace it. So be very, very careful in reading options. Be it your question, be it any option, be very careful. Okay. So here you have to eliminate Hokera. You only 2 are correct, 2 and 3. So only 2 pairs are correct. B. Okay, next. So it's a science question. And a lot of humanities people, they get this fear of science wale question. In my opinion, science wale questions are easiest because first they ask surfacial science, secondly they ask applied science, and applied science is very easy to get the options. So we will see here. First, they have asked which statement is correct. First option is biofilms can form on medical implants within human tissues. Biofilms can form on food and food processing surface. Biofilms can exhibit antibiotic resistance. So there might be a situation where you don't even know what are biofilms. Okay. Obviously, we are not biology students or we have not done some research. We don't know what is this. In my case, I knew what is biofilm, but I wasn't aware of all of these things. But see, what they have given as a hint is the word can. And science is one thing where there is immense possibilities in future. What we are doing today might be 5 times faster tomorrow. What we are not able to think today might be implemented tomorrow. So there is immense possibility in science, and that is why the term can becomes very significant here, because obviously biofilms can form medical implants, they can form food and food processing surface, they can exhibit antibiotic resistance. Today, genetic technology is so uh, it has immensely grown that anything can become a reality. So whenever there's a term can, especially in science, you should always look it with that eye that yes, it might become a reality in future, even if it's not today. Okay, so this way we can solve this question, and the answer is D, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. Okay, so what they are saying is, again they're asking the correct answer. So if a major solar storm or a solar flare reaches the earth, which of the following are the possible effects on the earth? Okay. GPS and navigation system could fail. Yes, obviously, it could fail. Tsunamis could occur at equatorial regions. So now understand, tsunami is a seismic phenomena. Tsunami, I don't think, like in my limited knowledge, it is a seismic phenomena and it has no direct connection to what is happening in solar system, in your sun activity. What happens in earth defines or impacts seismic things like earthquakes, tsunami, volcano. सन का डायरेक्ट रिलेशन ऐसा तो नहीं है, तो यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा you should mark this statement. Tsunami could occur at equatorial region. Just mark it, okay? Now, power grids could be damaged. Obviously, solar flare का मतलब क्या है? See, in solar flare, there is magnetism. So if magnetism will rise, obviously your power grids, your navigation, your GPS, everything will be affected, which is run through electricity and magnetism, right? So yes, this can be a thing. Intense auroras could occur over much of the earth, correct? If solar flares are rising, तो magnetic field भी rise होगी, और जो हमारे poles पे auroras जो बनते हैं, obviously they have a tendency to rise. Now forest fires could take place over much of the planet. So a lot of people did mistake here. They thought that solar flare has some direct impact with relation to fires on earth. But solar flare ka direct impact is with magnetism and electricity. It doesn't affect much of the the fire or the temperature of earth. So again, it's a trap. This question is a trap through this option, forest fire wala option. If you go by this option, you will ultimately land on the incorrect option. Okay. Now, orbits of the satellites could be disturbed. Again, as I said, anything which is related to navigation, GPS, will be affected. Short radio communication, yes, definitely. So if you eliminate first through tsunami and then through forest fire, you will reach the correct option. Okay. So if I eliminate tsunami wala, eliminate 2, you will reach on C. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. So what I want to say is, UPSC doesn't want to know the exact thing sometimes. It just wants to check your common sense. Okay, you should be understanding that tsunami is a seismic thing. It has no direct relation to what is happening in solar system. So even if you know just this one basic thing, you can reach at the direct answer. Correct. Next. So if rainforest and tropical forest are the lungs of the earth, then surely wetlands function as its kidneys. Which one of the following functions of wetlands best reflects the above statement? So if you know the function of kidney, obviously you know the function of wetland. So it's a very easy question to solve, but a lot of people did mistake because they were thinking about wetlands function. What they forgot is they're asking wetland as a kidney, right? So if I read the options, first is the water cycle in wetland involves surface runoff, subsoil percolation and evaporation. Yes, it is correct. See, it's a characteristic of wetland, but it doesn't mean that it is answering the question. Okay. Second is algae form the nutrient base upon which fish, crustaceans, mollusks, birds, reptiles, and mammals thrive. Yes, correct. See, in itself, it's a correct statement, but it is not answering the question. Now, see, wetlands play a vital role in maintaining sedimentation, balance, and soil stabilization. Again, it's a statement in itself is correct, but not answering the question. D. Aquatic plants absorb heavy metals and excess nutrients. This is the right option because that is what your kidneys do, right? They absorb the toxic elements in your bodies, and that is why wetlands are also called kidneys of the earth because they absorb the toxic metals and excess nutrients. So if you see, all of these four options are correct in themselves. But what is answering the question? You have to choose that. Okay. So the answer here is D. Next. With reference, again, the question is asking the correct statement. With reference to polyethylene terephthalate, the use of which is so widespread in our daily lives, consider the following statements. So, अगर आपको इसमें पता है what is polyethylene, this thing, this is a kind of polythene. Even if you know this much, you will be able to solve this question. So first is, its fibers can be blended with wool and cotton fibers to reinforce their properties. So might be, might not be. Second is, containers made of it can be used to store any alcoholic beverage. So if you are a common sense person, and if you have seen alcohol bottles nearby, have you ever seen alcohol being given in plastic? It is always, given in glass bottles. So this is the only trick that you have to use in this whole question. That first of all, it is saying any alcoholic beverage. Secondly, it is saying, plastic anyway is not very usually seen in containing alcohol, right? So if you eliminate this option, you will reach the answer without even knowing what is this polyethylene terephthalate. Okay. And one more thing, if you also read fourth option, articles made of it can be easily disposed of by incineration without causing greenhouse gas emissions. Again, it's a very, very vague statement. Firstly, it is saying that it can be easily disposed. Secondly, it's saying without causing any emission. So if it's a polythene, I don't think there is any plastic polythene available which is causing zero emission. There's nothing like that till now, right? The major problem of plastic is that it is causing emissions. So the statement in itself is wrong, that it is saying that incineration will happen without causing any greenhouse gas emission. So with these two options, 2 and 4, you can reach the answer. And it's a very common sense question. You don't have to know anything about this whole, chemical term, polyethylene terephthalate. So sometimes what we tend to do is we leave these questions because we think we do not know. We do not even go to the options, and the options are very easy. Okay. So always try to attempt these kind of questions with common sense. Second, next. So now this is one question that is, see how when we do our prelims paper, we do in iterations. First iteration is what we exactly know. Second iteration is some elimination. And third iteration is where, you are in a very danger zone and you have to attempt some questions. So this was my third zone question where I was in a danger zone and I had to attempt some questions. So this was a very lame logic, but I will try to share. So this was, they're asking which of the following are Jain text. With reference to Indian history, consider the following text. Then 2, 3, 4, whatever. So see, in third option, they have given Avadana Shatak. So I only knew this one thing, that Avadanas were the hybrid text used in Buddhism. These were hybrid texts with some Pali language and Sanskrit language. I only knew this. The Avadanas are hybrid text in Buddhism. So I had to take a risk and I eliminated the third option and I reached B, 2 and 4. And fortunately, it came out to be correct. So you do not have to do this kind of trick in all the questions. Where you have to do is when you are in a real danger zone, you will fail. But so try, you can apply these kind of logics when you know that you're bound to fail. ऐसे भी fail हो गए, थोड़ा करके ही fail हो जाओ, है ना? So here I use this logic that Avadana is a hybrid text and I eliminated through this. Okay, next. Okay, Which of the following statements are correct? In India, credit rating agencies are regulated by RBI. So it's an anomaly, है ना? कि credit rating agencies are giving ratings to all of these banks and these agencies, and it is saying that it is regulated by RBI. How can it be? There will be conflict of interest. If RBI is regulating these agencies, obviously there is conflict of interest. That cannot be. So you can directly eliminate first, and you will reach the correct option. Even if you do not know what is ICRA, what is brickwork ratings, you will reach the option only by your basic normal knowledge. In India, credit rating agencies are regulated by SEBI, not RBI. Okay, so it's a conflict of interest wala question. Aapko basic knowledge se you can come to the right option. Next. Again, it is asking the correct option. Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years. Yes, of course, every day in newspaper we hear this, that it is becoming a Southeast Asian giant. Second, Vietnam is led by a political party, multi-party political system. So if you are an aware person, if you know world history, if you read newspaper daily, you would be knowing that Vietnam is a strict communist country. It's not a multi-party political system. So this is one thing that will directly hit you, that it's not a multi-party political system. It's a communist-led one single-party system. So if you eliminate 2, you will reach the option. No, if you eliminate 2, you will come to B and C. 3, 5, 1, 3, 4. So that means 3 is obviously correct. 3 is Vietnam's economic growth is linked to its integration with global supply chain and focus on exports. Yes, we all know all of these, semiconductor chips, all of these electronic devices, and so these are all made in these Southeast Asian countries, especially Vietnam. So third is definitely correct. Now fourth, for a long time, Vietnam's low labor cost and stable exchange rates have attracted global manufacturers. Fifth, Vietnam has the most productive e-service sector in the Indo-Pacific region. So now it's a trap. Firstly, it is saying that Vietnam has the most productive e-service sector in the whole of Indo-Pacific. See, Indo-Pacific contains giants like South Korea, Japan, etc. Vietnam obviously is a growing economy, but that doesn't mean that it is the most productive e-service sector. So you have to eliminate fifth option also. Now you will reach the correct 1, 3, and 4. 1 is definitely correct. It is one of the fastest growing. 3 is correct because it is integrated in global supply chains. 4th is correct because it has a low labor cost because of its huge population. Okay. So here, what they want to assess is, see, Vietnam, for a few reasons, it wasn't news at that time. Secondly, what they want to know is your basic knowledge of your extended neighborhood. Last year, I guess they asked about Bangladesh. Similarly, they asked about Sri Lanka. So your neighborhood and your extended neighborhood, you should be aware of its political conditions, its economic condition, the agriculture there. Mota mota, you should be aware of these countries. Okay, next. In India, which one of the following compiles information on industrial disputes, closures, retrenchments, and layoffs in factories employing workers? So, see, a lot of people tend to do mistake here because all of these 4 options are very closely placed. First is Central Statistics Office, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Third is Labor Bureau. 4th is National Technical Manpower Information System. So they now give you options like this that you will tend to tick on something B or D. Like you might tick technical manpower का information हम ले रहे हैं यहाँ पे, है ना? Manpower की information क्या होती है? Closure है, retrenchment है, layoff है. So a lot of people get trapped here. कि this might be done by this organization. But the correct option is Labor Bureau. So through this question, you have to have this much of understanding. If you know the CSO ka work, so CSO ka work is not related to labor thing. It is related to your GDP, all of these things. The work of DPIIT is investment, strategic disinvestments, all of these things. and the promotion of internal trade. It has nothing to do with your labor bureau, your industrial setup. So option is C. So please always keep your antennas on in your brain, that you have to assess each option very carefully. You cannot go by words, that अगर यहाँ पे लिखा है National Technical Manpower Information System तो आप उसको टिक कर दो, ऐसा नहीं है. Please assess each and every option very mindfully. Okay. So the correct option here is C, Labor Bureau. Next. I guess this is the last question of our session. Which of the following statements are correct? Other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in nature. Again, as I told you, science is it's an immense field to discover. A lot of discoveries are yet to be seen. Inventions are in line. So we do not know that nanoparticles जो है nature में है ही नहीं. अगर आपको नहीं भी पता है कि even if you don't know about nanoparticles कि वो है या नहीं, so by the very beauty of science, you should be knowing that nothing in science can be restricted. Even if today might be a case that some particle is not there, it might become it might be discovered the very next day. So these kind of statements are generally always wrong, where they restrict your science key reach. Okay. Second, nanoparticles of some metallic oxides are used in the manufacturing of some cosmetics. See, the word here, some. Obviously, some nanoparticles are used in some cosmetics. Definitely they can be used. The zinc is used in sunscreen. All of these things are used. So even if you do not know, what they have given is some as a term. So definitely some particle must be being used. Third, nanoparticles of some commercial products which enter the environment are unsafe for humans. Definitely. Nanoparticles are, when they enter the bloodstream and they choke the bloodstream, they are unsafe for humans. So it's a very easy question if you have common sense, if you eliminate just through one. Okay. So the correct answer is D, 2 and 3. Through this, we have done, I think, all of the questions. So the summary of this whole session is, firstly, you cannot ignore newspaper. You cannot rely on your magazines, because magazines are dump of information that you will remember only for few days. But if you read newspaper regularly, daily, then that will become a habit to think in that way. You will become a thinking person, basically. So please read newspaper and please understand what topics should be done in what kind of depth. If it's polity, if it's economy, if it's environment, it has to be done in depth. But if some agreement is being signed, if some term comes in newspaper, then that should not be done in depth. ठीक है, वो आपको surfacial पूछेगा बस कि what this term is related to, where was this agreement signed. They will not ask कि इसमें क्या था, कौन बैठा था, कौन president था, ऐसा कुछ नहीं पूछेगा. So have a clear distinction in where you have to have superficial knowledge and where you should have in-depth knowledge. Okay. And always read the options very carefully. Sometimes we are so excited in solving, prelims that we tend to do a lot of mistakes in excitement. You have to read all the 4 options very carefully. Each and every term very carefully. Like we discussed that nominated member wala question. So the within term can make you here and there, right? One question can eliminate you from whole prelims, that means from whole exam. So be very careful with your reading question. And always read questions in a manner that you have to attempt in this very moment. What some people do is they read questions. Firstly, they will read upar se. Secondly, they will read अच्छे से. So please don't waste time like this. Read questions with utmost precision from the very first reading. Okay. These are the things that you can do for prelims. Don't diversify your sources. Be very, very restricted. Sources we have discussed already. And that's all from my side.
Areeba, are we open to questions now? Hi.
Hello.
Are we open to questions?
Yeah, we can
taking few questions.
Yes, we can take up.
So sure. Areeba, Avinash wants to ask how to plan next 5 months for prelims 2023. If you could answer in brief. Yeah.
So if you have seen my Civilsdaily, that offline video, what I tried to say was always go backwards. If you have prelims in May, always understand what you will be doing in that 28 days of May. You will be revising. In April also, you will be revising. So at least 45 days you have to keep for pure revision. And before that, what you can do is plan your subjects in a manner that you are able to complete in 10 days, 15 days. Like polity will take 10 days. Economy will take 10 days. Environment will take 10 days. Your science and tech can be completed in just 5 days. Geography can be completed in just 5 days. So what you have to do is plan accordingly that you have to do 3 revisions at least. At least 3, at least, because that is required for you to omit in that the similar thing in your prelims exam.
Right.
So do something कि आप 45 days you are keeping only for revision. उसके पहले whatever new you want to read and make sure that you are doing 3 revisions.
Ma'am, Aryan is targeting for Indian Forest Services. How should he proceed for prelims? Because he's very confused between coaching and study materials.
So his main motto is Indian Forest Service.
Yeah.
See, prelims में कुछ अलग नहीं करना है Indian Forest Service के लिए, क्योंकि whatever is decided for IFS is from mains onwards. When I qualified for Indian Forest Service, I didn't even know that I'm doing this, for Indian Forest Service. That just comes. If you have done your prelims good, you will qualify. You cannot think this in mind कि मुझे ये करना ही है या आप कुछ उसके लिए अलग से पढ़ते हो. You do not have to read anything extra in your prelim stage for IFS.
Right. Ma'am, Pooja,
you just have to be very accurate with your answers, and you cannot see to crack IFS. You cannot do any silly mistake, not at all, because the cutoff is 20 marks higher than your civils exam. So no chance of any silly mistakes. Be very, very much accurate and try to attempt as much questions as possible. That's
right.
The only thing I can say.
Ma'am, Pooja wants to know that is there a sufficient time between prelims and mains to start answer writing, because the writing speed is very slow. She believes that it is slow, and she takes 12 minutes to write an answer. So
okay.
Will there be
so
sufficient
see, time? Usually the writing speed is slow because we are not able to come up with good content. We are thinking and then we are writing. Why we are not able to come up with good content has 2 reasons. First, we do not have a lot of material, or we do not have revision. So if you think that you can revise in those 3 months, if you can compile in those 3 months, then you can definitely do the answer writing then. Because see, anyways, you do not have option now. You have to switch to prelims mode now. You can maximum stretch your mains preparation till end of February or mid of February. From March, April, May, you have to give these 3 months to your prelims.
A lot of questions are on CSAT, so strategy, approach, something.
I think these things we have discussed now.
Yeah, right. So, correct. She has already discussed these things, and you will get the recorded lecture, so you can see that again. Ma'am, Gautami wants to know, can you please repeat your sources again?
Sources? Okay.
Yeah, briefly.
So for ancient, you have to do Arya Sharma, old NCERT. For medieval, you have to do Satish Chandra. For modern India, you have to do Spectrum. 1 or 2 reading you can do from Bipin Chandra ki NCERT, not the Moti wali book. Only the NCERT 1-2 reading, and then switch to Spectrum. And then for art and culture, I only did art and culture fine arts book, not Nitin Singhania. Then coming to geography, I only did 11-12 NCERTs, 2 each. And I also did Raj Tanil madam's videos on Runal's geography, YouTube. And for polity, I only did Lakshmikant. For economy, I only did Runal sir's videos. For environment, I only did Shankar IS book. That's all. And other is your newspaper. Every day, I read The Hindu.
Ma'am, is there any specific marks that somebody should be scoring in mock test of prelims, full length mock test of prelims?
No, I don't think there is any bar to it. Try to score as much as possible. See, more than scoring, you should be focusing where you have done wrong. Why you made this question negative? Yeah, why you made this question positive? Rather than focusing on your scores, please analyze in a manner that what could have been done in this question to make it correct. What wrong I was thinking that I made it wrong. Try to understand what topics are weak. Yeah, what things are strong for you. Don't focus on these marks and all.
Right. Ma'am, few rapid fires. Is Shankar sufficient still? Is Shankar IS still relevant?
Very much relevant. No alternative.
Best month to switch to prelims?
It depends individually. For me, it was 3 months prior to prelims.
Right. Resources that would help in essays, writing good essays.
See, if you're good with your GS and you have some knack of reading, you can do essay. There's no resource for essay.
Right. Map strategy, ma'am.
Map strategy, I've already discussed. First, your priority is the places which are in newspaper. Secondly, you have to pick each continent and give one week to each continent.
Right. Somebody hasn't read current affairs so far. What should be his approach right from here now?
Okay. So current affair you cannot miss here. And if you have missed, then you can do this monthly magazine. I did Vision. You can do that, but it's a major mistake. You have to start reading now itself.
I guess we have come to an end of this session. We have taken most of the questions, and ma'am has already explained how to solve a paper live. So you can, of course, look at it and you will get answers to your question. Ma'am, please take care of your health. And I hope we recover soon. I hope you recover soon. And yeah, guys, we also have this workshop tomorrow. So Sajal sir will be doing this. He will also give you a strategy for prelims. You can join offline, online, both. So we are continuing this workshop. This was the first day by Areeba ma'am. Sajal sir will continue this workshop tomorrow. So he will be also there to solve most of your doubts. Right? Thank you so much, Areeba ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.